Joining me is head football coach Norm Esch. Talking with Coach Kim Nelson-Brown. Talking with Tommy Gilbert from the swim team. And joining us is Coach Oz of women's soccer. Welcome to Titan Coaches Show. I'm Derek Bohlman. Joining me is men's basketball coach Ron Rose. And Ron, we're on video now too.
Well, big time. I probably should have showered and shaved and got myself ready now there's a video of this.
Now you make me feel bad because I haven't shaved in a while. So now that we don't have to wear masks anymore, it doesn't itch as much, and I can keep it and go for the whole Santa look. And I'll have to wear red that week of Christmas, and maybe I'll fit in. But it's basketball season. How excited are you?
Hard to believe, isn't it? We're back at it, and we started October 16th. 2 weeks of practice in. The off season was terrific. And I think coaches, players always enjoy that off season to recharge your batteries, work on your game, and as far as the coaching staff, start putting together a game plan. But it's very excited. This is always a great time of year.
Well, and coming up Wednesday night, about the time that this is airing, you're going to be in Peoria taking on Bradley.
Yeah.
Got to be excited to see your guys on the floor, not against each other like you had the scrimmage on Sunday or in practice, but against other athletes, good athletes.
I think your team always gets tired of beating up on each other, practicing. You're teaching the same thing. It's always nice to go against a different opponent. We always try to get a Division I exhibition. In the last 5 years, we've played University of Illinois Chicago, University of Illinois, Southern Illinois, now Bradley. So very fortunate. It's a neat experience for our players. Certainly it heightens the intensity early because you have to get ready to play after 2 weeks, which is challenging to do. We really don't have everything in. We're not in the shape that we'll be in a month, but it certainly has expedited the process knowing that we have that game on Wednesday.
Well, and going into the season, you got a lot of guys without a lot of varsity experience.
Sure.
I mean, you had JV games and things like that last year, but you lost so much talent from floor time and that, a lot of minutes off that. How are you looking coming in? I mean, I know you've had some good recruiting classes, so there's a lot of talent, but some unknowns.
Well, a lot of unknowns. We lose 4 all-conference players, 4 guys that played a lot of minutes and a lot of crunch minutes. At the same time, we have I think a lot of talent. Our roster has a lot of ability. We just have to gain experience. I thought it was really a compliment to our program and our players within the program. We won the conference last year by 2 games. We lose 4 all-conference players, and we were just picked to win the league. So I think that is really a compliment to our program, but even more to the caliber of player within our program. So if we're doing our job right as coaches, you're always developing guys in your program. You always have your priority is that season, but you also have an eye towards the future. And, I think there are a lot of guys that have worked hard, have prepared, and are ready for their opportunity to be on the floor, especially during crunch time.
Well, you've got some guys who got some experience last year. First 2 that pop up, Connor Heaton, Lucas Heflin, a couple of them got some time last year, and you're looking to them. And who are the others that you're looking to as some leaders?
Our lone returning starter coming back is Cody Mitchell. And Cody, the last 6 weeks of the season was incredible. He really came into his own. He really found out what made him uniquely special at this level, and a big part was rebounding. Matt Laird's was averaging, 12 rebounds a game. His rebounding numbers went way down the last 6 weeks because Cody was getting them. I mean, Cody had, I think, every game in the last month, at least 9 and multiple 10 rebound game total. So he's such an important part. Unfortunately, he's been slowed with an injury. will not play on Wednesday. We're hoping that he'll be back by our first regular season game, but he's a guy that's played varsity for 4 years. You have Lucas Heflin, the other senior. We only have 2 seniors on the squad this year. Lucas is a young man that played JV as a freshman, JV as a sophomore, broke into the varsity lineup late in his sophomore year, was really a critical player off the bench, kind of was the backup 1 and 2 last year. Just a hard-nosed, tough player. He has had an incredible offseason of work. I think he's poised for a terrific senior year. Harrison Wilmson and Evan Schneider both backed up Matt Laertz last year. And had Matt, Matt was a first-team All-American. Had we not had that caliber of player at that position, they would have played more. But both got good experience. Nick Roper, like as you mentioned, along with Connor Heaton, also played really good minutes on the wing. And so those young guys got some experience. They also got to experience a level and standard of play that is, if we're going to be successful, we have to be able to get to. So they saw the work that went into it. They saw the teamwork that's required. And they saw how hard you have to play to be successful at the highest level at Division III. And so I think they understand it, and we just now have to kind of get used to playing together, establish roles, and gain experience.
Well, and you got a lot of good recruits in also. I mean,
sure.
Your recruiting class very good. Any newcomers that we're going to see early in the season?
Well, there's several that we really like. And, it's so early in the season after 2 weeks. We always say this, they come in, and the first 2 weeks, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. I mean, we're just throwing stuff at them, and they're just hanging on, trying to survive. There are several that could play themselves into a role as the season goes on. It's just really hard early. That being said, I think this is one of this group has picked up things as quick as just about any group we've had in 2 weeks of what we're trying to do offensively and our defensive principles. They've picked up stuff. They're hard workers. They're coachable. Really excited about them and anxious to see as the year goes on how they're going to continue to progress.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your non-conference schedule. It starts out right here on campus at the Shirk Center with the Sigma Hall of Fame Invitational. Yeshiva making a return trip after your trip out there last year. And we'll get into that next week. We'll talk about how important that is. But you have UW Stevens Point or Webster, one of those. Then you go to South Dakota with Nebraska Wesleyan and St. Joseph, UW Oshkosh. All that before the season starts, basically a month from now. I should say conference season starts basically a month from now. Tell me, how important are those games in shaping your team for the CCIW?
Well, the unfortunate thing is your first game of the year from an NCAA standpoint is just as important as your last game of the year. They don't view it any differently. So those early season games are important. We believe in scheduling the best competition we can. 28% of our schedule is against top 25 preseason opponents. And there is not a single game on our schedule that you can just walk into the gym and feel like you're going to win. I mean, they are all quality opponents, quality programs, and I'd rather do that. Our players would rather do that. They'd rather be challenged than trying to schedule someone that you're going to win by 20 or 30. And so we've got to be playing good basketball early in the season. The Jack Sikma tournament, 4 great teams. Last year, every single team that played in the Jack Sikma tournament won their conference and made it to the NCAA tournament. And I think it'll have similar level of competition this year. The games out in South Dakota, it's called the Small College Champions Classic. It's the first ever. Division I does it with Michigan State, Kansas, Kentucky, and Duke every year. So now they're starting one, and we were very honored that they contacted us to see if we wanted to play in it in the inaugural Division III event. So, we're going to get tested there. Then you go out to Oshkosh, who is ranked, I think, 1 or 2 in the country. There are just no ducks on our conference, Derek, and it's great. It's what you want, but it will prepare you for when we start conference play, which is so early now. We'll have already played 2 or 3 ranked opponents before we ever get into CCIW play.
Well, going South Dakota, I always ask one big win a year, Nebraska Wesleyan. I went to Concordia, Nebraska, and that was our arch rival at that time because they were both
Do it for Derek. That's going to be the motto for that one. Do it for Derek.
There you go. Half the guys don't even know who I am yet. So they'll get pointed out at the Sigma Hall of Fame. You'll have to point them out because I'll be doing the non-IWU game. So I'm going to get some background from you on the teams coming in, your scouting reports.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know what's going on that. But how excited are you with Yeshiva coming back? We'll talk about that a little bit today. You went to Yeshiva, great experience out there in New York. Great friendships, I think, were built just from the players, the fans, and the environment that was there. Now they're all coming here. I know they've been asking about tickets and all that. We're like, we got more room than they do, but that they'll be able to get. They're
going to bring. Sounds like they're going to bring a crowd. They've got it's really a cool story. Yeshiva had an incredible team last year, led by Ryan Terrell, who's playing in the G League right now. They were on a 50-game win streak, ranked number 1 in the country. When we went in there right after Christmas, we were ranked 4th in the country. It was probably as hyped non-conference Division III game that I've experienced in my 17 years, and they were incredibly hospitable. I think there was a terrific amount of respect between both teams in terms of how we go about our business, and so it was really neat that they're willing to come back and play in the Jack Sikma tournament. It will be what a way to start your season. And I know they're excited to make the trip. I don't think they've done a lot of traveling like this before. And so it should be a terrific way. Not to mention, we're going to bring back, and we'll talk about this later with the Jack Sikma tournament, we've invited all the players who've been named an All-American in our program back. There's only been 16. And we've received 12 confirmations. 4 still might. We're hoping to get all of them back. So that adds to it. Last year we had the academic All-Americans. This year we're bringing back the All-Americans. We're so proud of the tradition at Illinois Wesleyan, from Coach Hornberger's days to Coach Bridges' days, Coach Trost days. We're trying to carry that tradition on, but also honor the tradition that we're trying to uphold.
And what a great tradition Illinois Wesleyan has with the academic All-Americans. As many as, I believe, UCLA, Duke, right in that same neighborhood.
More than. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, we've got 26. Indiana, Kansas, Duke, and UCLA have 20. So we actually have more All-Americans that have come out of our basketball program than anybody in the country, which obviously we're very proud of.
That's awesome. That is great.
True student athletes. I mean, that's really what I think Illinois Wesleyan has to sell is you can get an elite education, excel in the classroom, and then also be part of a tradition-rich basketball program. And I think that number of having 26 academic All-Americans really proves that point.
And that was fun seeing them all together last
really
year.
Neat,
and
yeah.
I look forward to this year's events also. And I'm actually honored. I'll be doing the UW Stevens Point Webster game on Saturday.
Great.
And then Yeshiva versus whoever they play, win or lose, because Joel and Eric will be on the IWU game, so I get the opposite games. But that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I get to enjoy your hopeful wins.
Yeah, we hope so. We're working at it. We're working at it, Derek.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming up here into the podcast studios, and we'll be talking with you a lot this season.
Hey, first podcast I've ever done. This is less painful than I thought it'd be. It's awesome. Thanks for doing this, guys.
Absolutely. That's Coach Rose men's basketball at Illinois Wesleyan. I'm Derek Bohlman. You're listening to Titan Coaches Show.